Hi, this is Laurie.
I'm Peter.
And we're with Action Heroes LA with our latest review of...
Black Phone.
Is it Black Phone or is it The Black Phone?
Well, it could be the Black Phone, but we had one of those at the house.
One of them old phones.
Yes.
Yes, I remember those old phones. And I remember them because I was thinking about them as part of the plot of this movie. But anyway, I think it is titled The Black Phone. But
Okay.
Either way, this is a horror movie directed by Scott Derrickson. And it's the biggest star in this is Ethan Hawke.
Yes,
and
it is.
some kids.
Mm-hmm.
And it is would you call it a horror movie?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's
pretty.
Yeah,
It's pretty. Some scary stuff happened to these kids. So.
yeah.
So, did you want to start? What did you think of The Black Phone?
Well, overall, I thought it was a good movie. I had fun.
Yeah.
But there are things that, I just kind of would pick at. And
Okay.
Go, no.
Yeah, just little nitpicky. You could nitpick, but it didn't spoil your experience.
No. I had fun.
You had fun.
I had fun.
Yeah.
And we did go to the theater to see it.
Yes, we went to the movie theater. We found that Sunday nights at about 9:00, you get about maybe a quarter of the full quarter to a third full theater.
Or less.
Yeah,
Yes.
which feels relatively safe, So we found a new time. It's not $2. It's not $5 Tuesdays.
No.
But it's safe Sundays.
Yeah, safe Sundays.
So it was great to go
one.
see it. It's nice to go back to the theater. It's still I still watch great watching stuff here too. But
yes, it is.
yeah. So the Black Phone. After we saw this and we talked about it before coming out of the theater, and I was like, this is a cross between Stranger Things and a recent horror movie we watched, Fresh, because it's somebody gets drawn away from home and isolated somewhere. And also, what else did it make? The Sixth Sense.
Yes.
I thought of, and some other. It's like a combination of these things. Stranger Things, because it's the whole retro thing. That takes place in the 80s, but this movie takes place in the 70s. And
Yes,
I thought,
in the 70s.
you know what? But what I didn't realize after we talked and we left to go our separate ways and head home, what it really reminded me of was Stephen King.
I guess
It reminded me of
not,
Stand By Me, though. And I haven't seen Stand By Me in a lot of years. But
you know
a
what?
lot of decades, actually. And I know you don't like that movie, but...
Yeah, it wasn't as good as everybody kept telling me it would be.
Oh, really? People were hyping this movie up for you?
Oh yeah, they were like, "Hey, this movie is all you. It's everything." And I was just like,
I would have said that too to you, but...
yeah, it was just like...
But you're like,
no.
It was all right.
Yeah, it's like...
No, but yeah, it very much, I was like, you know what, that reminds me of a Stephen King movie. Something about how it's like one of those campfire stories. You get the flashlight and someone's telling you, and this guy was going around in a van with a creepy mask on, and he looked like a creepy magician, and he was kidnapping these boys, and he would murder them in the basement, and I'm telling the whole plot. And then the ghosts of the boys came back to the latest.
With what you're just saying, you're not gonna like this.
What?
It'd have been a better campfire story.
Okay, well, I had no expectations. I had no clue what this movie was about. Anything other than it looked like a scary movie. Said okay, and it did have like 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. I was like, Ethan Hawke, 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm going to see that because he always picks really good roles in interesting films. So, and I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was a good campfire story type scare for me. And there are little things too. I was like, well, why don't you do that? Watching the movie, it's like going back to that black phone. We both grew up phones like that. We know they're heavy as hell.
Yes.
There's lots of heavy metals in those phones. You can pick up. Well, that one was affixed to the wall, but you could really hurt somebody with one of them old phones.
Yes.
So it was like, you know what? I was looking at all kinds of things. The main protagonist, the young boy, could have used, and his character's name is Finn in this, in the process of this, trying to escape this captive situation. And what's satisfying about it is, in a way, all of the things is like, why don't you use that? They do end up incorporating it in some manner and stuff. So
which was really, really neat at the end.
Yeah. So this movie, it was a fun movie going experience, despite some of, it was like, dude, why don't you do this? Do this, to him. Yeah. But like that kind of resolve where a lot of those things do come back and he does use them. And really satisfying movie experience for me. And so when I was like, this, when I drove home, I said, this feels like Stephen King, even though I'm not a Stephen King expert, but anyway, I remember seeing in the early credits it said it was based on a short story, but I didn't see the author's name. So let me go Google it. And it was a guy, Joe Hill. So I was like, okay. This Joe Hill really wants to be Stephen King. So I look up Joe Hill, see what he looks like. I was like, oh my God, he looks like Stephen King.
Wow.
Is he trying to look like Stephen King? And then I look like son of Stephen King, and so. And Stephen King's son wrote this.
Really?
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yes, but you know what? From the way the story was told and everything, I wouldn't have guessed it.
You wouldn't have guessed it.
No.
See, it felt very Stephen King to me. And turns out his son does write. And so.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
See? Caught you off guard. I didn't know that.
Yeah. That was very interesting.
Yeah. So it's, I had a lot of fun with the movie. I like one of the things we discussed too, the retro touches. We both grew up in the 70s. We were kids in the 70s, and I thought there was a lot of details on there that were very accurate.
Very accurate.
And kind of not like Stranger Things, which I enjoyed. I've seen at least a couple seasons of that. But I think they get too obsessed with the whole 80s retro stuff and reliving that stuff. But this movie was just recreating that era, and you could tell the people recreating it lived it. And I appreciated that. Except for one thing from that.
Don't tell. Was it the van?
No.
Okay.
You have any thoughts about the retro style before I mention my one thing?
Well, I did like that they kind of went back and forth here and there. They had a grainy look. Yeah. A lot of the films from back then had a grainy look. Right. I did like that when some of them were walking home from school, the way some of the homes were put together, so far as their front yards, they were walking in between chain link fences. And I was like, wow, that's very 70s.
We don't remember the chain link fences on
and that's
on
how
front
they,
yards.
you can be walking in between two, a home there, instead of a street being in between, there was just a little pathway, a little walkway. So did you happen to find out where they filmed this? Because
I didn't.
It was.
I mean, I think
really
it's supposed
nice.
to take place in Oregon or something like that. Yeah. And the brick houses. Well, I lived in Kentucky, and they have houses kind of like that, but they don't have too many of the fences like that. But no, I didn't look. I'll have to look that up. Should I go Google it? But I'll say this: the one thing that wasn't 70s, but I didn't mind was when the little girl. She's that's the other thing that was Stephen King, is the supernatural element where the girl is she's having these prophetic dreams, and the boy is, you know, he ends up seeing ghosts and talking to ghosts. So that's that whole element too. But anyway, she has a scene where she prays to Jesus a lot. And at one point, while her brother's been kidnapped for a while, she goes, "Jesus, what the fuck?" And that was...
That's a very 2000.
That is, yeah. That what do you? I don't want to say slang, bit of cursing. Yes. Would have never. What the F was not a 70s saying at all.
No, not at all.
That's a very modern saying, but the delivery, the timing, the point of the movie, it was great. It was a great moment. That I totally forget. There's a lot of great moments in this that, you know. Any little things you can kind of forgive.
I hate jump scares.
Yeah.
But where they put them in this movie was really good.
Yeah.
So it was just like they didn't go and you go, okay, so now here comes the jump scare. Wham, there it goes. Okay.
Yeah. Most time you don't jump. I jumped a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's funny because the actually what I like that what caused the jump scare, the entity that caused the jump scare wasn't necessarily the bad thing, the bad entity. And I kind of like that flip. You know. So and I really like the ghost and stuff, or the human, the real people were the scary things. So, and let's talk about the scary thing. Ethan Hawke in this as the creepy guy who's going around kidnapping these young boys. And
you know what? It's really weird to say this. I don't think we saw enough of him.
Yeah.
I thought we could have seen more. Yeah.
I mean, he's so good. Yeah. He was so freaking creepy. Yes. You know, and just Yes. And that's Ethan Hawke. He's such a good actor,
when I would have loved to see him do more. I'd love to see him on screen more.
Yeah, he's not on screen a whole lot in this.
No.
Yeah.
But I also would have liked to have seen his face more.
Okay.
You know, I would have liked to have seen him. But also I think they did a really good job because it was not about any actor.
Yeah. That's
it was
true.
about...
It was about this story.
And
these kids and that era. Yeah, you know, it's kind of interesting because I was watching another review of this and they mentioned there's this guy in a van going around snatching up kids. They already call him the grabber. You know, why would this kid, you see a guy in a van, why would you stand there and approach him? But I mean, the level of, but at the same time back then, I don't think the level of caution people take now with watching their kids and not letting them roam around. This is the 70s. On this movie, what's that? Kids are just walking home by themselves, riding bikes all over this neighborhood. No parental supervision, no adults around. That was the times. You know, that's you went everywhere and anywhere that I wouldn't dare let kids do now.
Yes.
Without me watching them.
Yeah.
And so when the Finn, doesn't run, kind of sees this guy and doesn't immediately run away from him, it's like, but back then we weren't thinking that way, you know.
But and that's one of those things with me. It's like, we would just it doesn't count. But also, they made this kid in the film very smart. Yeah. I shouldn't say smart because you can be book smart. But he was very savvy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And for him to see, one, he knew what the color of the van was.
Yeah.
He knew about some of the other stuff, and it's just like, no.
He thought just the way they handled that, it was just a little. It's kind of. It's a little hard, I'm trying to at the same time,
But that too, there were some things that happened in the movie, and I was like, "There's your way out." I don't understand.
Do that, kid. That's what
do
sometimes. Do this, kid. Do that,
Well,
kid.
It's
Yeah.
easy.
There was one thing that he didn't do.
Yeah.
They didn't show it on camera, and I was like, why didn't you just use that? the item. Hi, Dad.
You didn't put the screen up?
No, not yet. Welcome, my dad. We're recording a review. You want to come in and say hi?
Oh, no, that's all right. I'm sorry. I didn't know.
That's okay. We don't mind.
Yeah.
This is half
How
the
you
fun.
doing?
Come in, Dad.
It's my Uncle Euless.
Come on, Dad. Come on in. Lean down here and say hi.
We're like twins.
Yeah. Say hi. Hi, everybody.
Okay.
Okay. You're gonna stay there.
You didn't ask me what I thought of the
What did you
movie.
think of the movie, Dad? That you didn't see with us last week.
Think.
It was terrible. I didn't see
What
it.
movie is it?
And we saw a movie we
Black
went to
Phone.
last Sunday called The Black Phone, which was a horror movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't like horror movies.
Yeah, I figured that. That's why I didn't ask you if you wanted to go.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay. But anyway, so that was, where were we?
Well, let me let you go. I was just checking.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe we'll think about putting it up.
I was
We're gonna
wondering whether you
put up the big screen. And now Ginger too. Come on in, Jen. You want to open the door and let Ginger in? So anyway, the Black Phone, yeah.
Yeah.
See, there were little things like that. Yeah, like there was one thing he could have used. I was like, why didn't he climb up that thing? It didn't make sense. And then later in the movie, they kind of did. I think they figured out that they did a little like overdub voices. Like, I tried that. I tried because somebody tells him like, why didn't you climb up the thing? He said, I tried that. I couldn't get up or something.
Yes.
So I think they in a little way.
Yeah.
And stuff.
No, and they did do that. And in a way, I appreciated it, but I was just like,
Okay.
yeah, kid, I would have done it.
Yeah, I would have climbed up that thing so fast. It would have been the first thing I did. So yeah, the little things, there's little nitpicks. It's like, why didn't you do that? Why are you doing that way? Why are you just? But it wasn't. It was such a satisfying, and I think because they built up the characters and their emotional relationships and all that so well that silly plot points and kind of things I can forget about if I enjoy the characters and I'm along for a good character arc, and that's what the movie does.
Yeah, because a lot of the things that they did with this phone, that was from a story that I had heard years ago.
Okay. Oh. Really?
Oh yeah, but it ended up that it was actually something that they made a Twilight Zone of.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So I was like, okay,
Okay.
But to try to wrap it up, because the only way to really talk about this movie is to just give away the movie, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah. You don't. This is one. Try not to spoil her because that's half of the movie experience there.
Yes.
So let's wrap it up. That's The Black Phone, which is in theaters now. If you see it, let us know what you think in the comments. And we out like
We
that
out.
kid getting out of Ethan Hawke's basement. We were trying to get out, boy.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But it's really cool the way everything that he
Everything
did
kind of falls into place,
and everything
right?
that he was told to do, and here's a way to get out, but it didn't happen, but it made its way for everything else to happen.
Right. I thought that was a very clever way to do it.
Yes.
So yeah, I'd recommend going to see this.
Yes.
To check it out and stuff. Maybe not the hype a lot of people were given, but a very good, fun movie-going experience, I think.
Yes, but again, you really have to pay attention to the movie, and you really have to let it develop, because it is definitely as if it was the 70s.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Pace-wise, too. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. We out.
We are out.
Bye, y'all. Make a face. Oh, my mouse is not working. Sometimes it's like the Did it stop?